Jackson back with Here at Song Mentor, and today's relaxed selection is Looking Out My Back Door by CCR. And this was the last in a series of 5 songs, hit singles by CCR, that reached number 2 on the charts. Amazing that they had that many wonderful songs that made it to 2, but not number 1. Looking Out My Back Door was a direct tribute to the Bakersfield sound, popularized by artists such as Buck Owens. In fact, Buck Owens is even mentioned in the song. Here's a great tune from Cosmo's Factory. CCR, Looking Out My Back Door. All right, as always when we begin a lesson, one of the first things we have to think about is what key we're going to learn it in. And the original key of B flat is awkward in several respects, including vocally, but also chord-wise. For the average player, I think the key of G is going to be a lot more fun for you, so that's what we're going to do this in. And in the key of G, here are the chords you need. You need an open G chord, an E minor, an open C chord, and an open D chord. And then when we get into the key change, we need an open E chord, an open A chord, and an F sharp minor bar chord. And other than little connectors and transitions, that should cover the chords needed. All right, just a word on the strumming pattern in this song. It's really, really simple. I've jazzed it up a tiny bit for this acoustic solo version, but if you watch the video, and this is what you're getting. And if you like that simplicity, please feel free to use that. All I've done is add a quick up-down to it like this. Okay, so it's really a matter of preference there, what you feel most comfortable with. I'm going to go with this. I just think it fills the song out a little bit more. But your choice on this one. All right, the first thing we want to talk about is rhythm, that shuffling Bakersfield kind of rhythm. And for this song, it's... And that's how the song begins, with Fogerty muting his guitar and playing that. So I'll slow that down for you, and you need to kind of get this rhythm in your head, because the song kind of follows it. The only other thing to remember is as you're playing through those chords of the intro, which are G, E minor, C, G, D, back to G. It's always nice to pick the root note of the chord. I'm picking down on the G, E, C, G, D. So let's take one more look at the intro from a right-hand perspective. Eventually we'll work a picture-in-picture into this, but I just want to show you what the guitar can be playing during the second half of that intro. So it goes like this. As soon as I get to the C chord, we're going to play this. So here I am. I'm starting on the D note here and hammering up to E. And then I can kind of pull off on those, or I can just pick them all. And I'm basically going from 3rd string 4th fret with my 3rd finger to 3rd string 2nd fret to open 3rd string. And then repeating it with a different rhythm. So it's 4, 2, open, and then 4, 4, 2, open. So it's 4-2 open, 4-4-2 open. So on the second string, 5-5-3, 4-2 open, 4-4-2 open. And you'll see later as we put that in, along with the guitar intro to the song, how cool it sounds together. All right, the verse progression basically is the same as the intro. So what we'll do here is play through the progression with the chords on the screen, and then once we have that, then I'm going to do a playthrough with you of the intro and the first two verses with vocals. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, go over that pattern a couple of times, and then we'll move on to a playthrough. Okay, just before we get into the playthrough, I want to share a couple of what I call connectors with you. And the first one's coming out of the shuffle at the beginning, at the intro. And that's just to get us to the opening chord in the progression, which is a G. And all we're going to do is essentially a bass line up from open D, 2nd fret E, 4th fret F sharp. And that just gets the song started, and you can throw that in there, slightly muted. And another one that you'll hear in the playthrough is just a nice little rundown from the G chord to the E minor chord, G, F sharp, into the E minor chord. So just a couple little connectors for you. And there is so much more you can do in this song. All that kind of stuff. You can play around with that and have some fun with it. I'm going to keep it fairly straightforward with just simple connectors in our version, but please feel free to do that, and if I have time, I'll tell you a little bit more about those in fine-tuning.
Just got home from Illinois, locked the front door, oh boy. Got to sit down, take a rest on the porch. Imagination sets in, pretty soon I'm singing. Do, 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 looking out my back door. Giant doing cartwheels, a statue wearing high heels. Look at all the happy creatures dancing on and on. Dinosaur Victrola, listen to Buck Owens. Do, 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 looking out my back door.
All right, let's talk about that little bridge section, which is the tambourines and elephants section. And the chord progression there is D, C, G, G, E minor, D. And I think what we're going to do here is when we get to that D chord, we're going to get back into the verse pattern again, so we're going to do a little rundown. So we're playing on the D. That takes us back down to the G, and that's just a C. Well, the D, of course. D chord, C, B, A, G. Okay, we'll include that at the end of the pattern. So it's going to sound something like this without vocals. Like so. So let's do a playthrough of that with vocals. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tambourines and elephants are playing in the band. Let's take a ride on a flying spoon. Do-do-do-do-do. Wondrous apparition, guided by magician. Do-do-do, looking out my back door.
Okay, the guitar solo loses just a tiny bit in the translation to the key of G, but we're going to be pretty faithful to it, and it follows along the main pattern I were to sing the guitar solo, it would be that sort of thing. So basically it's a recreation of the melody in picking style. So here's what we're going to pick. That's our first little section, and it's just so all D notes up to the E, back to the E, D note, open the 4th string, and then a quick B note, 2nd fret of the 5th string, and then back to the open D. So there's only 3 notes being played there: the open D string, the 4th string, 4th string 2nd fret, 5th string 2nd fret. That's the first chunk. The second little bit, up on the 3rd string, same thing, open 3rd string and 2nd fret. Da, 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 da. Okay, so far we have building to the next part. So we're sliding up here. So I'm sliding up from this position, which is 1st finger, 1st fret, 2nd string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret, 3rd string. I'm going to slide up 2 frets. When I slide up, I pick down on the 3rd string, and after the slide, I pick up on the 2nd string. And when I slide down, I just slide down that 3rd string note from where I am, which is the 4th fret. I go 4, 2, open. So, okay, so building that, the whole first half of the solo there almost. Okay, so the little picking that we just learned there works along with the G, E minor chords in the progression. So what we just picked goes along with. Okay, now we're going to learn what we pick or play along for the guitar solo with the second half of the progression, which is the C, G, and D. So the first thing we're going to do is just one strum down on an alternative C chord. So instead of playing the C here, we're going to play this C. And all that is basically this part of a bar C chord right here, just 1st finger across the 4, 3, and 2 strings at the 5th fret. And that's all we're picking down on is 4, 3, and 2. So pick down on those, and then we're going to slide up to a different C chord, which is this one. So pick down here, and then this C chord, which is basically a bar C chord without the bar. Again, 4, 3, and 2 strings. The next chord that we play is this one, which is a G chord played up here. It's this chord, which is a D chord with an added note on the 4th string here, just a basic open D chord. And then as we move up, of course, it's D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, and that's the one we're playing. So we play this C, and then that G right there, and then down to this G. So here's what's played again. And I'm just giving you kind of a little alternative ending there to that with a D and a D sus by flattening out my 3rd finger across the 3rd fret of the 1st string just to finish off the phrase. So it's so what in essence we're playing is C, C, G, G, D, D sus, D. So putting that whole solo together, let's try it. Now it repeats. Second time through is pretty much the same. It just finishes off a little differently. So the finish. Finishes on the G chord instead of on the D chord. Okay, let's talk about the key change into the end of the song. Now we're coming out of do, 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 looking out my back door. Okay, so we're going to play the slap bit again, coming out of the chorus. And then when we do change keys, it's from G note on the 6th string to F sharp note to F note to E chord. So it's 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm using 3rd, 2nd, and 1st fingers there. Alright, that takes us to the final verse, which is in a different key. So the new chord progression is A, F sharp minor, D, A, and E. Halfway through the verse, it slows down. So I'm going to suggest you use this little connector to take you into the half tempo part of the final verse. And that's just an open E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Now we're into the final bit of the song. We're going to do that rhythmic intro again, but this time just for 2 measures. And then we're going to finish up with the do, 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 looking out my back door. A little quick EA there to finish. So it's going to be like this. And that's just the do, 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 looking out my back door, instrumentally, not vocally. And that wraps up the song. So let's do a playthrough of that final section that we just learned. The 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, 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 looking out my back door. Lock the front door, oh boy. Looking on the happy creatures dancing on and on. Bother me tomorrow, today I find no sorrow. Do, 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 looking out my back door. All right, fine tuning for Looking Out My Back Door. Just a little instrumental bit at the end. Pick through that melody. This is with the key change now. The new little pick through melody, similar to what we did at the start of the song, is now all based on 2nd fret and open strings, first 3 strings. All right, the Bakersfield Sound, nice shuffle beat from CCR. Hope you enjoyed that one of their best songs ever. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.